We're back to Insomnia's case on the Gilman Hotel. Welcome.
$3 bro.
What the fuck?
You're way better off. Thank you.
Welcome back. You recognize its a roof from afar, and after a long walk, it's now before you in full splendor, the Gilman Hotel. At least it's easy to see that it once must have been a gorgeous building. The hotel resembles an old English country state, but in its present state, it would be suited as the setting for a very predictable film about teenagers and chainsaw killers. Wild and wider, ivy has a firm grip on the walls and obscures details of the richly decorated facade. A gallery of gargoyles melted into unreal shapes by acid rain and acidic pigeon dropping lines from the roof. The many windows' panes have been neglected for years. Only in a few places has a small area been wiped clean in order to see outside. There are 2 cars in the parking lot, a vintage car with large rust spots and a large gray van. I wouldn't inspect the cars, but I am an inspector. I'm an investigator. You look around again just to make sure that the people who own the cars aren't hiding somewhere with their shotgun at ready. The coast is clear. First, you walk over the antique car. Well, you're not a car expert, but the car looks antique to you anyways. Both seats inside are made of white leather, a bit tacky. You turn away from the antique car and look towards the van. No writing on the side, a regular registration plate. The windows in the front are blacked out. Hang on, you have a brainwave. Maybe this is the van into which poor Tabitha had been pulled when she was kidnapped, when she was lured to her awful fate by sweets and lollipops. It could be. Of course, it all makes sense. In all likelihood, you've just managed to find the actual kidnapper, the seed of all that is evil and wrong in this case, and all you had to do was book a hotel room and stare at cars. You're a natural. Now all you need is some proof. I wouldn't smash the window. Of course, whatever it is that you're looking for must be in the back of the van. Excitedly, you walked around the van. Sadly, the door is not open. That would have been truly lucky. Full of optimism, you try the handle to see if the door has been left unlocked. There's noticeable resistance when you turn the handle. Damn, you won't get in without the car key. Let's leave the parking lot. There's no evidence that the van, other than him thinking that the kidnapper used the van, there's really no evidence, so why would we break into a car, right? As an investigator and as a criminal justice student, you shouldn't do that. You need a probable cause. Which first, he's not a law enforcement agent. Second, he doesn't have probable cause. He just has an idea, which is good, but you need details to get to the conclusion. You've stayed in this parking lot long enough. You don't want anyone else to call the police on you. Maybe you should just go and book your room. You really hope the inside of the hotel has been looked after a little better than the outside, but you're quickly disabused of the notion. The massive wooden door is difficult to open. Shouldn't the staff be doing this anyway? With a loud cracking sound from the hinges and an exhausted puffing and painting on your part, you manage to open the door and enter the lobby of the Gilman Hotel. You wonder if guests are even welcome in this place. The room is sparsely lit. There are impressive chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, which if working would perhaps not quite give the grand hall back its original splendor, but at least convey more warmth. Your first steps tell you that there are wooden floorboards hidden under the thick carpet. The green wall paneling and wallpaper also appear running and musty. Bro, just go to the reception, bro. Stop being weird. Before you let yourself be distracted by the questionable interior design and the associated health issues, you walk purposefully towards the reception desk. A small, greenish creature stands behind the counter. The loudly humming ceiling lamp above Ashley illuminates his silhouette and gives his face hard edges. You can make out every individual speck of dust and dandruff on his dark green velvet collar and crooked shoulders. Maybe this should be deeming delights after all. The figure smiles at you, or perhaps it's more of a grin. His face unsettles you. You lean forward at an angle to get a better look at him. The corners of his mouth reach all the way up to his dried up ears. His smile looks like it's painted on. His beady eyes lie deep in the cavity of his skull and seems to stare into opposite directions. Has he even blinked yet? And on top of it, all he smells funny. How may I help you? You're startled and take a step back. Welcome to the Gilman Hotel. My name is Cornelius Gilman III. How may I be of service to you? The man's gaze remains unchanged, and his unnatural smile still seems to be etched into his face. You're still surprised that he can talk with that expression on his face. Just a moment ago, you could have sworn he was an animated puppet. I would like to book a room. You begin and manage not to blurt out. In a different hotel. Perfect. The Gilman Hotel is delighted to be able to welcome you as its guest. May I ask whether you're in insomouth for business or pleasure? How long will you be staying with us? Would you prefer a view towards the beach or the skyline of our society in town? When would you like to be woken up? Do you sleep deeply? Are you traveling alone? Do you have family? Who knows that you're here? Can I interest you in our spa, fitness, and wellness activities? We'd like to subscribe to our newsletter. I'm gonna throw this one out. Are we done now? Can I go to my room? The concierge's expression did not change a tiny bit from my direction of your conversation. Let alone did he blink. Thank you very much. That's all I need to know. Now all you need to do is sign here. He tilts his strangely shaped head over to the guest register. Impatient, you sign with J. Doe, Newbie Slayer, your real name. Sadly, we're all booked up this season. There's only one spare room. Here's your key for room 666. Enjoy your stay. You look at the key, which has magically appeared on the counter. Then your eyes slowly wander past to the man to the wall, where countless other keys are hanging. Book wellness section. This wellness offer, Caligula. The concierge offers helpfully, naturally. Today must be your lucky day. Today's program starts. He lifts his arms without actually looking at the gold watch on his wrist. 5 minutes. Would you like to reserve a spot? Reserved. You take a moment to turn on your own axis and let the fundamental aptitudes of the hotel sink in. Definitely. Fabulous. I will arrange everything. The tour bus is already outside in the parking lot. Our wellness specialist, Exekiel, is awaiting you. Sign me up. The concierge was right. In the parking lot, there's a rusty little bus that could hold up to 30 people. In irregular intervals, the bus cuts off puffs of black smoke. From a distance, it looks like as if the car is only held together by dirt and rust. You assume that at some point this bus did have a color, way back when the earth was young and the old gods resigned supreme. The windows are dirty and steamed up from the inside. You can make out a few silhouettes in the bus, but it's definitely nowhere near half full. This is going to be a very exclusive wellness program. A man with a strangely deformed face leans against the open door to the bus. He smokes a cigar. A photo of him could be printed on cigar packets as a warning to keep people from smoking. He's wearing a green shirt which has a squiggly G embroidered on the left breast pocket. As you look him up and down, he blows out his smoke. It's just as black as what's coming out of the exhaust pipe. This must be the wellness expert, Ezekiel. Good afternoon, you greet him. Is it the wellness program, Caligula? The man nods and answers without taking the cigar out of his mouth. Yep. He nods towards the open door. Well, at least he's unambiguous. The stairs leading up to the bus wobble with every step inside the bus. There are 5 couples of all ages. You wave. Hello, everyone. Hey. The younger people mumble in response. There are 2 younger couples in their early 20s, 2 middle-aged couples, and one which looks like they're beyond the age of 60. The older ones just give you a reserved nod. Understandable. Some people like to be left alone when on holiday. Other people is their idea of hell. A creaking, squealing sound. Meanwhile, your tour guide has gotten into the bus and dropped onto the antique driver's seat. He pulls a lever and the bus door closes. While the bus pulls off down the parking lot, your guide croaks into a loudspeaker system in a bored voice. Dearly beloved, my name is Ezekiel. I'll be your diver and wellness consultant for the day. It's my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Gilman Hotel to the Caligula Wellness Program. I must remind you that it's strictly prohibited to take photographs of our wellness facility. No photos. Ow, the speakers crackle and emit shrill noises. This, however, does not seem to bother Ezekiel in the slightest. We begin our wellness program on the popular and world-famous insomouth beach. No photos. You look around indecisively. Remind me, what was the rule about the photos again? No photos. Enjoy the journey. Ask the driver. Let me ask about wellness. I don't know. You're beginning to wonder what you have gotten yourself into here. Excuse me, but which? No photos. What kind of wellness treatment do you offer? Without turning around, Ezekiel points to a sign above the driver's area. Don't talk to the driver while the vehicle is moving. Okay, so I can't speak with him. Let me talk to... You get up again and stand in the aisle of the bus. The eyes of all 10 passengers are now directed at you. They look particularly curious, partly annoyed, as if you wanted to sell them something. You take out the photo, hold it up and walk slowly down the corridor. This girl here disappeared a week ago. There's a chance that she's still in... I've seen her. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think I've seen her too. What? 3 people have seen her? The tourists take a closer look at the picture again and nod vigorously. A young blonde woman with a nerd shirt and sunglasses in her hair. Gives you more details? We saw her downtown, in a pedestrian zone. Can you be more specific? The 2 giggle happily. We tried a few games in the arcades. She was walking around there. Most have been early afternoon. Mean games. You don't quite know what she means by that. Well, you know, her boyfriend interferes. Shooty, shooty, kill, kill, mean. Yeah, real awful. You say but something inside of you dies. You keep to yourself the fact that today's computer games are an exciting new medium which puts even the most expensive blockbuster movies to shame. You have this kind of conversation before and you've decided that your time is simple too precious for it. How do I find the arcades? When you stand in the town square with the big creepy fountain, you'll be able to see a shopping street. The woman explains and makes somewhat unclear gestures. You have to walk down the street, and at the very end, you'll see the archway. There are lights on it, and everything it's done is a retro style. So the arcade seems to be Tabitha's favorite place. Good to know. You decide to make the best of this forced break and stay in your seat. Outside, sad old buildings pass you by, then a cemetery and a repetitive chain of small fishing tackle shops, markets and houses with drawn curtains. On your left, you see houses. It turns through the PA system. On your right, you can see more houses. For a few minutes, the bus driver through some narrow, winding alleys, and increasingly the simple houses give way to bigger warehouses. The distant cries of seagulls suggest that you are approaching the harbor. The bus finally turns onto a road that turns parallel to the quay wall. The other tourists start crackling excitedly as they spot the fishing boats and smaller boats in the harbor basin. Look at the harbor. You join the tourists and look through the faded windows. Indeed, boats in a harbor. Gosh, who'd have though? Boats of all shapes and sizes continuously enter and exit the harbor. Nets upon nets are being emptied into big freezer boxes. Local trays are being sealed with handshakes, and at the end of a huge lighthouse watches majestically over the bay. Traditional sailing boats of this type are not seen that often nowadays. The sailors from insomouth do not seem to have much time for engineers. They really seem to know a thing or two about seafaring. No sooner has this semblance of respect for these weirdos formed in your mind than the figures at the par turn towards your boss and stare after you. No matter how capable and skillful they are, they remain creepy. The bus leaves the paved road and goes down a narrow gravel path that leads directly to the beach. A faded sign shows the way to the insomouth beach bar, which is actually just a wooden hut surrounded by mostly empty deck chairs. With a yolt, the bus suddenly stops. You keep to the end of the gravel road. Final destination. Everybody smoke now. Exekill's bored voice comes from the loudspeakers. The front entrance opens and the driver shuffles calmly down the stairs. Final destination? You just gotta love these people. One after the other, you travel groups gets out of the bus. In the meantime, your wellness expert has lit up another cigar. Tequila on the wellness programs is best enjoyed in our Caligula feel-good bathrobes, which are available in our beach cabins. A strict dress code for hygiene reasons. He gestures limply to some crooked wooden huts flanking the path to the sandy beach. In our beach cabins, you will find everything you need. You can look up your clothes there. How lovely of you, said the tourist. They really spoil you here. Maybe these people are right after all. Yes, exactly. After all, you get all this for free, and one should be open for new experiences. Has city life embittered you? Should you perhaps spend more time with moronic tourists in order to appreciate the simple pleasure of life again? Just go into the cabin. What the heck? Some of the cabins are not yet occupied by the others, so you have the choice. The cabin smelling of urine. Urine sit. Excellent choice. It even has a key. In the small hut, there isn't even room to stretch out your arms. A simple nail was driven into a wall at eye level and served as a hook for the bathrobe. As you take off your coat, you notice some deep scratches run across 3 of the wooden planks. You don't recall Ezekiel mentioning any wild beers. You actually managed to get undressed without smashing the nail into your eye. You've stripped naked in tighter and more uncomfortable places, but that's a story for another day. You fold your shoes and clothes into a neat pile. The bathroom may be a few sizes too big for you, but that doesn't bother you much. You lock your cabin from the outside and store the small key in your breast pocket. You're ready. Ready for wellness. Ezekiel shuffles in front of your wellness group. Your little group is now walking the last stretch across the beach. The side in front of you is hardly a postcard motif. Are there even postcards from the insomnia case? A rough one lets the even rougher bathrobe whip against your skin. Dark clouds now come up on the horizon. You notice how all the colors of the sea, the beach, and the people seem to be swallowed by the strange light conditions here. You hold your hand up in front of your face. Your skin looks gray and mate, but you still feel relaxed. The murmur of the sea investigators, you feel a deep longing rising within you, a serene sense of inner peace and freedom. A monotonous beat. The sound seems to come directly from the beach bar, a few hundred yards off in the distance, which appears to be surrounded by about a dozen people. Given the changing weather, it's perhaps no surprise. What else is one supposed to do in this beach, apart from drinking cheap cocktails and dancing to bad music? farther away, untouched by tourism, wellness and scratchy bathrobes, you can make out the lighthouse of the harbor. Exekiel leads you directly to the shore. Strange, how is it supposed to work? You had expected small pavilions where you would be massaged and pampered after a short dip in the sea. But apart from the bar, a few hundred yards away, there's nothing to be seen far and wide that could suggest wellness, except for the metal frame. A kind of cage stands in the shallow water. It's just big enough for your group to fit in. Is this a spot you were told about? Exekiel does walk up to the rickety cage and unlocks his padlock. With its tired smile, he opens the gate and points inside. Boiler. But I'm gonna... You hold back while the other tourists reverently touch the brown metal bars as if the rusty cage was a World Heritage Site. Are you missing something? Phase 1 of our treatment is seawater therapy. Exekiel makes a lazy gesture towards the tetanus-ridden cage. During a 2-hour session, the participants' bodies is exposed to healthy sea air. At the same time, regular rinses ensure a firm skin. The effect is particularly positive for participants with neurodermatitis. He looks like the guest. Phase 1 is followed by the deep treatment, if you please. Visible bored to death, Exekiel points to the open gate of the metal cage. Two of the younger ladies venture carefully into the shallow water. They gargle excitedly as their feet dip into the cold, muddy seawater. Your partners follow them, and so does the rest of the group. One after the other, the tourists enter the cage. You're the last to follow them. As you step through the gate, your hand slides over one of the slippery metal bars. It doesn't take long until a covered shaft runs down your spine. There's not much room in here. Your group seems uncomfortably close to each other, and even the woman who were crackling excitedly a moment ago seems to be a bit uncomfortable with this form of wellness. A loud noise brings you back to reality. It almost sounds like a block had snapped shot behind you. This is confirmed when you turn around. You see how Exekiel takes a step back and lets a set of keys disappear in his pocket. Studies have shown that rest and relaxation massively increase the effect of the therapy. I'm off. Good luck. Hang on. Luck? If you're always skeptical about new experiences, you'll never have any exciting holiday stories to share. Alas, you turn to tell your crazy stories from your trips. And it's true. You already feel more invigorated than you have in a long time. The sea air cleanses your lungs. The seawater cleans your toes. The whole sky is now covered by gray clouds. Seagulls circle on the horizon as if weightless. You cherish the moment. Inner peace has never been your strength, but now is probably a good time to start. Time passes, at time agonizingly slow. At others, as if in a flash, in the first half hour, the tourists still make small talk, but even the encouraging words and stories become less and less frequent. It's almost nightfall. The sun's about to disappear behind the roofs of the town. The light of the sun drains away, and with it, any residual heat. The only constant is the sound of the waves and the steady rise of the sea level. By now, the water reaches up to your knee. Two young women from your group seem increasingly concerned. I must say, I'm getting really cold. How much longer is this going to take? It can only be a matter of minutes until Mr. Exekiel comes to take us back to the boss. The two women give you a grateful smile, and the others nod at you hopefully. Soon we'll be under a hot shower. You have no idea if this is true, but the atmosphere inside the Iron Dome relaxes a bit. Not only do the couple nestle into each other, but the whole group moves closer together so as not to give the icy wine quite so much room to attack. Oh, I'll join. There's no reason to be ashamed of wanting to survive. Even animal packs are clever enough to huddle up to each other during wintertime, and you're certainly not dumber than an animal. You awkwardly take a couple of steps towards the others. They let you into the group with a gentle smile. The older lady rubs your arms. Another hour passes. Without actually saying it aloud, your group has given up hope that Exekiel might return. Their tired faces and shivering, sunken figures let you know all you need to. The man makes several more attempts to break the lock or the bars, but even though the metal bar looks old and rusty, without a tool there's no chance. In the end, their attempts only lead to more despair. You look... Wait, hold on. What is the C? Hold on. I'm gonna look at the beach. Nobody's stupid enough to use insomouth beach for surfing or even swimming, neither in the afternoon nor after sunset. Yet you can still make out lights in the distance, colorful lights. It must be lights from the beach bar that's still going despite the bad weather. Apparently some tourists have still not given up on their expectations for a beach party. If only the bar were closer, the sound of the waves drown any attempt to draw attention to you. You can only hope that a drunken couple will wander close to you. What was the elderly lady suddenly shrieks. She tears your group out of its communal experience of self-pity and shivering. What do you mean? Her husband gives her a reassuring hug. There was something out there. Trembling, she points in the direction of the open ocean. The group shifts its position to the side of the cage. Curiously, they press themselves against the grid to get a glimpse of something. Could it have been a diver? Someone from the Coast Guard? I saw something, but it wasn't human, she screams. It was big and had huge eyes and claws and teeth, sharp teeth. The group exchanges glances. One by one, they step back from the bars. Their short-lived hope of finally being rescued from the cage has given way to something else. Honey? Her husband mumbles and gently strokes her cheek. But the gesture does not help to appease the woman. She abruptly pushes him away as far as the narrow cage allows. He was there and then he was gone. Maybe her mind was playing tricks on her. What if she saw a shark or... I don't know. Damn, you really should have paid more attention to this underwater documentary. Still searching the horizon. The younger couple screams in unison. Panic. They press themselves against the bars. Then again, each other, and then against the rest of the group. Their eyes are searching the water. There was something slimy on my leg. The woman squeaks in a trembling voice on my ankle. Her boyfriend adds. His voice is unusually high-pitched. Maybe it was a small fish. They swim in shallow waters too. The elderly man says I'm ordered to come to the group again. If anything, I'm rather surprised we haven't had a visitor before. You admire him for his effort to lift the mood, but no one pays attention. What was that? Several people in the cage shout. Was this a shoal of fish swimming around your legs? There! Something slippery wraps itself around your ankles. Despite the relatively high level of the sea and the waves, you attempt to try to catch the slippery something that is swindling itself around your feet. Your head dives into the cold water, something you could certainly have done without. You grope blindly in the water until your fingers touch something smooth, which then disappears in a flash. Oh my god! Look! Something's pressing against the cage from the outside. And indeed, as the woman said earlier, it's not human. It's a sea creature that could be straight out of the 1950s horror movie. This scaly creature, however, is not a man in a fish costume. It's much more to lifelike and big for that. It must be at least 6'6", maybe more. The body's bent forward and its mighty arm and claw-like hands are wrapped around the two bars of the cage. The head emerges directly from a thick bull's neck, and it has a huge swollen eyes and a broad mouth whose long teeth spread past the lips. The head of the thing looks like a goddamn fish, of the kind that are said to live miles away sea level in the deep trenches. The only saving... Yo, what the fuck? Hold on. What the fuck? Oh, it's from before. Give me 1 second, and then I'll continue. This game is really cool. It's a book. I'm reading a book. That's what I'm doing. It's really cool. The only saving grace is the fact that the weak moonlight leaves some parts of his body in uncertainty. The group has quickly moved to the other side of the cage. The gaze of the thing wanders over worried faces. His throat gives off a sinister rumble. The creature is focused on the rest of the group. It looks like the couples that have huddled together anxiously. You clear your throat. The fish creature turns its massive head in your direction. Do you understand me? You ask with loud, clear words. Nothing. No reaction. You begin to wonder if there's anything at all going on beyond those big eyes and how big the brain might be. With which this mighty creature was blessed. The creature blinks. Two skin flaps shuts vertically over the eyes. It's an unnatural sight, sends another shiver down on your spine. With a jerk, the creature pushes itself off the cage and dives into the next waves. It's gone. God. You're such a dick. He says one of the young ladies. But who means well? The elderly man says. Okay, fine. Maybe he's not that bad. Maybe you should have asked for his name or the name of anyone here, but that ship has probably sailed. A sound tears you away from those important dots. A short, quick splash. Wendy! Screamed one of those who stood in the far corner of the cage. She's gone. You approached the others to get a better idea of what happened. She was standing next to me, then she simply sank under. Something pulled her into the water. That's impossible. How would... The tourist conversation is interrupted. Wendy emerges from the water on the other side of the cage. Irritated, she rubs water from her eyes. What happened? You ask straight out. That slippery thing was there again. I felt it wrap itself around my knee, tighter and tighter. She struck a wet strand of hair from her face, then it just dragged me down. I don't know, it pulled me underground. I kicked and kicked, then it let go. The ground? The soil must be looser than we thought. You heard someone whisper hopefully. Two of the men dive down. After a few seconds, they reappear. They take a breath and disappear into the water again. They repeat this 3 more times, then they appear and wipe the door and salt water off their face. The bars go deep, but I think it stops. This thing goes about 3 feet deep into the ground. 3 feet? That should be doable. Get help. You instruct the young woman. Wendy presses her arm against her body inside the cage. It is cramped, but on the outside she must be feeling unprotected. Okay, she says in a trembling voice. She awkwardly follows the waves as they roll into land, one wily step after the other. The young woman rolls her arms towards the beach, then a splash, as if something had dived into the water. Wendy pauses, her eyes winded with fear. She spins around. Fuck. Harry. She's your only chance for help right now. Harry, damn it! He called out to her. Wendy breaks out of her stupor and starts to make for the beach again. She's halfway there already. Then she disappears underwater. A small water fountain shoots up because of the rapid movement. Then a splash and everything's over. Everything's so fast that she doesn't even get a chance to kick or scream. What? Her boyfriend presses himself against the bars. With a glassy look, he searches the water surface for traces of the young woman. Honey pie? Nobody says anything. He turns to you. How can this idiot direct his rage to you? Blame this spa bastard. You tell him, hoping he'll manage to see reason. He locked us in here and left us at the mercy of those things. You can literally watch the man's brain slow down and reconsider the situation. Maybe all hope is not lost. A blood-curdling scream tears you back to reality. Then both man and woman start screeching, confused. You try to get an overview of the situation. Your group inside the cage has been decimated by one more person. Oh God, Alan! A young man cries. Everyone presses himself against the metal bars. For a moment, they hope to see the man emerge from the water like Wendy lets them forget the danger they are in. It comes up briefly, but you cannot make out much amid foamy water. The only thing you do notice is that it's bigger than the creature that paid you a visit earlier. Maybe this time it was a fish. You never thought that one day you'd long for a shark. Ugh, startled, you turn your gaze away from the water outside. A young couple has disappeared right from your mites. The remaining 3 women and 4 men cling together, their faces distorted into grimaces of pure horror. One thing you definitely do not want right now is to be alone, defenseless. Worstly, you move closer to the group in the waist-higher water. To your relief, nobody says anything as you snuggle up to the other freezing bodies in the 4 tin bathrobes. A big jerk shakes the group as a woman is pulled down into the water, and her boyfriend, who is clinging to her, is dragged down along with her. The dozen people have shrunk by about half. You realize you have to act now. This stupid cage must be good for something. When those things come for you, you're going to make it as hard for them as you possibly can. The cage is not very high, 8 foot at the most. You could try climbing it up. Your attempts to lift yourself up and climb the metal bars work out straight away. Your grip is firm and the panic provides you with plenty of adrenaline. Like a monkey, you climb up on the upper bars. For God's sake, that's disgusting, an elderly lady says from below, clearly while hanging from the ceiling. The loose bedrolls reveals more than it conceals. But you're beyond carrying right now. Another person cries. You look down. By now there are only 4 people left. A young couple and the retired people. Help! One young man and the retired couple. Shit! The man says. You blank and his gun too. Oh, Roy, why did we have to come here? The old lady sobs into her husband's shoulder. You know why you're here? To find a missing little girl. It's a mission you've criminally neglected so far, but right now you have other problems. Hey, yes, you look down again. The old man pleads with his eyes. His wife is clinging to him. She trembles and looks as pale as a ghost. You must help, Dorothy. Oh, damn it. A few no without use. A few no, not without use. Later. What? The old man gives his wife a leg up. The old woman stretches out her hand. Damn it, if you die tonight, at least as an honorable person. You manage to grab Dorothy and pull her up a little. With her free hand, she grabs one of the bars covering the top of the cage, but then she simply dangles. There's like a bright pier. Well done, dear. That's good. Just another splash interrupts her husband's pep talk. Roy! Suddenly, the water splashes up to the ceiling of the cage. Then a sudden jerk tugs at Dorothy, who you're still holding by the hand. My leg! She cries miserable. From the corner of your eye, you can see that a ghastly tentacle has wrapped itself around the calves of the old lady and is now pulling at her. I'm not letting go. Oh, fuck. You strengthen your grip around her hand. With a little luck, this thing will let go of her after all. It seems to mostly act underneath the water surface. Your eyes meet, her eyes wide open. There's nothing but sheer panic in the old woman's face. It's no use. The tentacles pull even harder, and the jerk immediately pulls both of you off the safe metal grid. A hysterical scream is the last thing you hear before you drop into the cold sand water. What? Am I dead? Wait, no, main menu. Was I dead? I did die, didn't I? Wait, I did die. Hold on, I died. Is that like one of the endings? The Song of the Sea.
Take me home to the place I belong. Okay, so that was another interesting ending. It was a lot of fun. Right, so we're gonna try some more endings.
Okay, so it has 27 endings. This is my first ending, so I'm actually going to rename it. Because it's the first ending that I got. I'm gonna leave it until here. First ending took me an hour. Don't really think I have anything yet. The wellness. Am I supposed to become friends with Ezekiel? Am I? Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna stop it here for now.